Welcome, race fans, to SVR's top tier division of racing. My name is Webbo, here to take you through today's racing as always, and I'm really pleased to be here with you. Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome, of course, to everyone watching from home. Welcome to Biggerwood, to Flash, to everyone else who is watching and has not yet made themselves known. Please do so. Make sure that you're subscribing to the channel and doing all the good stuff here for the racing. This is how things look after the first 2 rounds of the season. Our Dark Lord of the Sith, Vader, has had a perfect record so far, scoring 19 points at each round and winning, of course, both of them. Hello to AJ as well. Happy Sunday to you. This is a spoiler-free zone for the F1. If I see even the merest hint, I will be closing the live chat and I won't be able to interact with you guys. So please respect the fact that some of us have been driving earlier on today. We have Vader on top with Arya scoring a double second place as well on 30 points total. Then Beregoz has also, it's been rather a predictable podium so far with third places for him. Stig is 4th, BaloFey is 5th with QT Vicinity, Soul Shock, Senior Dude, Mario, Scabby, Joe Gonsim, Yank the Tank, and at the back at the moment on a single point, Woe Grizzle. That means that Coach Dave Delta or Coach Dave Academy have 86 points total. That's total across the entire category of racing that we have, but 48 points for Coach Dave right now. 46 for Kimmy's. Yamplact have 36, joint with Team Mega on 36 in joint third place with Delesi, 33 points. Buckstein have 16. And we have Brokaga having scored 10 so far. But obviously cross-divisional, things look rather different with Team Mega leading the total points allocation on 131. Some distance, it looks like at the moment, ahead of Delesi, ahead of Yamplact, Kimmy's, with Brokaga and Coach Dave ahead of last place Bergstein. Looks like we are getting ready to start qualifying for you. I hope you're all ready for this. I certainly am, and waiting to see as we ride with on board here. This is a rolling start for our drivers as we look at, I think that's Scavvy selected on the settings so far. We will ride with Beregoz, who has a clear run through the first couple of corners. Of course, we're here at Suzuka. It is cold, it is damp and chilly, with about a 20% chance of seeing rain today throughout the course of the feature race. This is just qualifying, although it is set up to look very much like a race. We've got changes happening all the time. Of course, outlaps going on at the moment. We'll ride with Scabby and with Beregoz in their respective positions then to try and see exactly what will happen in this qualifying session. Just some warm-up of the tyres happening right now. This is Beregoz, as I mentioned, and he is driving for the Delesi squad, and currently 3rd in the championship. We're hoping to see if anybody is able to make a difference here and knock on the door of Vader's tight grip at the moment of the championship. Is overtaking allowed in quali? It shouldn't be allowed. I think if someone bins it and goes off, then I think it's absolutely fair to make an overtake. Treat it as if it's a VSC conditions, I think, but a rolling start. The drivers pretty much only have the opportunity here to run 2 flying laps total throughout the course of the race. Thanks to Beregoz for the latest changes on the Hector display as well. They are looking beautiful and fantastic. We've got some amazing new features to show off for you as well. I hope that I can do them justice throughout the course of today's broadcast. We are join him then directly on board. He's got the ghosted out Halo section as we power out of the last curve, the appropriately named corner, the last curve, as we head down the start-finish straight before diving straight into turn 1 and turn 2. Almost treat it like a double apex corner. Getting all the way down into 3rd gear here on board with Beregoz as he then winds his way through the snaking S's. Should be virtually flat for a significant portion of the S's as they head uphill once they've selected that 3rd gear, and then we're building through the speed through Dunlop before heading into Degner 1. Whoa, that's flat into Degner 1 and then down a few gears. This is on those new sticky soft tyres that are going to wear like crazy out there. But flat through Degner 1, dropping down into Degner 2, under the overpass, then into the hairpin, the Kobayashi hairpin, as I'm trying to make it stick. I hope that's not true. The stream is buffering. My apologies if it is. I will just check. I seem to not be missing any frames at the moment, so apologies if there is a problem. Hopefully it will clear up soon enough. But running through Spoon 1 and Spoon 2 runs Beregoz. A little bit of outwash there. Tyres not quite perfect for him. Hi to you, Revelit, by the way, as well. Good to have everybody. So I think it might be a fault at the junction between the two of us. Through 130R, flat out naturally, and then braking down at about 70 meters before the Casio triangle chicane, two-corner chicane. Back through the last curve we go with Beregoz. Then he hasn't got the full benefit of the positions. Let's cut over to Vader then, who absolutely hugs that pit wall, almost rubbing the pit wall, and he crosses the line then. Currently P3. Looks like it's Mario who has had the fastest time, quickly beaten by BaloFey in the position. Then my apologies, I'm getting a little bit mixed up with what I've got on offer here, but I think that's BaloFey. Let's try and find him. Here he is, who had the fastest lap for a moment, but Stig has just gone faster still. Tremendous run then from Stig, which is absolutely brilliant to see. We'll change driver on the Twitch stream. Hardly anybody appears to be running a Twitch stream today, unfortunately. So I've only got Yank and Scabby, the two Bugstein drivers. Let's see who is progressing really well at the moment on this second hot lap. It's Stig from BaloFey, from QT, from Senor Dude and Bedsti Mario. Vicinity in 6th. Jogon Sim in 7th and Soulshock in 8th. Yenk, Beregoz, Vader, Scabby and Arya. Their times have not registered, but I would be surprised if they are not actually going to feature heavily in the course of the qualifying position. So it may be that they've dropped out from Hector. We'll see if they can re-establish links to Hector. If not, we may unfortunately have to turn off Hector, or at least the display of Hector at the moment. I will make sure that you can see those onboards for the drivers, but slightly poor showing from our drivers at the moment. This is onboard then with BaloFey. Joe getting out of the way as he runs through that particular section, then into the chicane, back into the pits, then try and set a flying lap as best as he can with qualifying time elapsing at the moment. Our tyre changes, okay, yes indeed they can, as long as they make it within the time allotted. I'll just check on our current time there. So let's just give me a little bit of information. So we've had 5 minutes and 37 seconds at this time. At the moment then we've got BaloFey coming out of the pits, but Stig is the fastest driver at the moment. I'm going to try and find Stig for you. He's in P11. So we'll ride with Stig, shall we? As we run through here, I will turn off the display. But for this second one, we will see Stig perhaps defending that pole position time so far. Arya though goes fastest. Arya fastest, the Canadian driver for Kimmy's racing team, goes fastest of all, a 1:36.451. And I think here he is. Let's follow him as we track with the fabulous Yank the Tank's 5-camera setup stream there. But you can hit quit during your lap and re-enter. You can, but that would happen upon a penalty for our drivers, unfortunately, I believe. So that is something that the drivers are checking, and one of the reasons that we use this race setup as qualifying to make sure that the drivers don't do that. This is a proper run, so everybody's race is saved, and they can watch that again. So Revelit, I understand the approach, but it is outlawed here at SVR, especially in S1, the top tier, to run as close to a qualifying simulation as we possibly can. Thank you to all of our sponsors: Mega Transport, Bugstein Transport Service, Delesi, Kimmy's racing team, Brocarga, and of course the
one that is slipping my mind right now. Well, you're all screaming it, I know. Yamplact Interiors as well, who are doing a tremendous job supporting our stream, as well as Coach Dave Academy on screen you can see as well. Heading into the pits we go as you ride on board with Yank the Tank. Arya is the fastest driver. Let's see if I can find Stig for you. This is Senor Dude. Let's see if Stig is going to run a fast time. Apologies for skipping through, but it's either that or changing the screen every time. So Stig running on this second hot lap as things stand, heading through the S's to try and track his time at the moment. Can't quite see, no, his reference times aren't on his dashboard, so he's running a fast time at the moment for him, personal best at the moment, but Mario appears to have a bit of speed in there as well on his lap. He's currently running a purple mini sector near the middle of the track. This is Stig then with a slower second mini sector. BaloFey also very quick at the start of the proceedings. I think though Beregoz, Vader and Scabby unfortunately are not registered on here on Hector. Although it's odd because Scabby's Twitch is working well as well. So apologies, we'll just turn off the driver's view. Beregoz goes fastest though, suddenly a 35.979. We'll ride with Stig and see this lap out as I wait to see whether the rest of the drivers will emerge from the pits and be able to come. Soulshot goes 6th with a big climb, then Vicinity takes that away very quickly. Vicinity just 0.2 of a second away from teammate BaloFey. Across the line goes Stig. Looks like no faster for Stig, unfortunately. Beregoz with Arya currently on a fast lap at the moment. Senor Dude is about to cross the line. He stays 9th, unfortunately. Arya, though, looks like he's about to start his final flying lap. Let me just check on how much time is actually remaining to the drivers. Looks like we've got 30 seconds, so Arya is definitely going to be cutting this one very, very fine indeed to get through and complete the lap. I think he will reach the checkered flag in plenty of time, but whether the additional time allowed is going to happen. And what a great timing for Stormborn to show up as well. So great to see you, Stormborn. I hope your race went well. I don't particularly want to hear about it because I want to call the race naturally as much as possible, as much as I can without spoilers. But I hope it went well, and hope you'll enjoy watching partner Arya here as they join and are heading on out of the hairpin. I'm afraid I've still got a advertisement going on Twitch. I think I'm stuck on that at the moment. Let's follow Arya though. This looks like a slightly worse lap for him. I think the track might have passed its best here for the drivers. Beregoz leads from Arya and Stig, with Mario in 4th and BaloFey in 5th position. Team Mega on row 3 at the moment, unlocking that one out, but hoping for more. Here comes the braking action into the Casio Triangle on board with Arya as we run through to complete this final flying lap. Can he post a faster one from nowhere? Unfortunately, he stays 2nd position, does Arya, and that means that I think it's going to be Beregoz who stays fastest overall. That's Senor Dude for Coach Dave. Stig finishing up in 3rd position overall. That's Jazzy Beats, who is guesting here, having a very busy day of it. This goes QT across the start-finish line, but staying in 8th position there. And I will confirm those qualifying times for you. It looks like we have got Beregoz fastest. I don't think that is true. I think all the times have just been reset. So I'm going to turn that off for a moment. And then we should be able to wait for some news from our fabulous race director for his settings to make sure that he gives me all the information that he needs. Oh, great. So, okay, I have a completely different person on there with I've got Phil as the safety car driver. Apparently, let me just check if he is here. No. Okay. Normally QT is the man to go for it. I've been given a 5-minute warning from QT, so we will check that out momentarily. Hopefully we will have somebody out on track, will we, to enjoy. I don't think so. I think drivers are all just staying out this time, unfortunately. But we'll stay on board then with QT in case he decides to head on out of the pit lane. Stormborn, looking forward to my commentary. Good, I'm glad. Okay. Just need to message our teammate racing driver for a moment, Mr. Ben Cox. There we go. Yeah, hopefully we will get the benefit of his wisdom soon. We had a problem there with Hector for a moment. I'm waiting to hear on the qualifying times. I think they will be sorted out when it comes to the grid, but someone will usually message me. But if Phil is doing the race director role, then I will not receive that. But QT usually is the man to help me out there. Let's just give you some standings reminder here while we wait for that qualifying session standings to be confirmed for me. Hopefully that will come through momentarily and I will be able to give that to you. I'm being asked if I can show lap times on screen. I'll do my best, but I think I have not got the information that I require to do that. Let's have a look. I think no, all times have been reset. I'm afraid, Tequila. Race director comms were not working, so not doing it. Thank you, Phil. Okay, appreciate it. Hopefully then it will be QT that sorts me out with the grid. It looks like our team racing driver, Mr. Ben Cox, will be here as well, playing Stig Light. We've got a Stig in the chat as well. I've got in the race as well, of course. Just waiting to see if QT will send me the grid. I wonder if Tequila can show me that, but I can't monitor it at the moment. Hector has not decided to give me that information. Here though are the standings, and we're hoping to see a break in the in the streak so far for Vader, but who knows. Let's have a look and see if we've got any weather showing on our radar. We will wait to see. I think the driver's hugging the pit wall has registered, says Beregoz, as pitting, and therefore I think might have interrupted their times being registered. So we will see if we can organise the race times. Otherwise, we're going to have a couple of incredibly good drivers right at the back of the grid. Vader's already not very happy about the situation, but I want to make sure that you also get to see some of our fabulous drivers.
Well, fantastic intro there from thanks to QT for that one. I'm going to do my best to get you those qualifying times on screen as well momentarily. Let's have a look if I can manage to do that in time for you. I don't want to miss everything, so I'm checking between two different feeds at any given time, of course. Let's try and get you that in. Okay, let's try that. Okay, let's see if I can do it for you to try and get you qualifying times then. Hopefully that's what we should then see. Here it is. Okay, I think I just need to shrink that down slightly. Yeah, let's try and have a look. We've got Vader, the fastest driver, ahead of Beregoz and Arya with Stig, BaloFey and Senor Dude, Mario, then Scabby, Soulshock, QT, Vicinity, Joe, Yank, and Jazzy Beats at the back. No surprise to see Jazzy Beats at the back, who is reserving from a fantastic run. I think that is everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It is everybody. Fantastic. But some really close qualifying times then. You see that Beregoz, only 0.3 of a second away, is the front row. And then 0.3 separating Arya and Stig in that second run as well. So we've got a pit lane penalty for somebody. I think it's Senor Dude. No, it's not. They're just joking with me, I think, in the run here. So that's what I'm seeing anyway. Still waiting for that countdown, but these are the results of qualifying. Apologies that I haven't got some kind of fancy qualifying display, but this is the best I could do for you at this moment. I hope you enjoyed the driver intro. I certainly did, and that's all thanks to QT there. So great to get some associations going with the drivers, and of course their fabulous teams who are supporting us today. So let's go back to the lobby screen. I don't necessarily want to bore you rigid with it, but that is what we have at the moment anyway. And I wait to see if once Hector is up and running and interacting, then hopefully I will be able to give you that once everybody is ready. I will just check on the weather settings. What have we got? We were seeing C5 for the clouds earlier on, which is about right for everything. We've got C5 clouds. Okay, so we're not, I don't think, expecting any rain, but there is a small amount of randomness in, if that is a word, in the weather forecast. So of course it could rain. There is about a 20% chance of rain locally here in Suzuka, and so let's see if it does eventuate for us. We want F1 style stances for next season, says Revelit. Well, yeah, let's see what we can do for you. We'll do our best. And for all of those settings nerds who love to see what the drivers are competing with, this is what we have for you at the moment. I won't bore you by reading everything out on screen, but you can see very strict. Everything is incredibly strict for the drivers. Very difficult. Now, one of the things that I wanted to mention to you all was some results from last race, which were fabulous. Some great information that came to me, which showed me that where is it? I've lost the link. Okay, so basically it showed me that the majority of drivers who succeeded last week, 2 weeks ago, last race, they did a 2-stop strategy for their race. Soulshock was the only one to make a 1-stop strategy work, and then the Brokaga team both made 3 stops, and that patently didn't work, and they were at the back of the grid, unfortunately. So 2 stoppers were the way to go. But if you are Soulshock, a settings and fuel master, that was the situation. He managed to make that work, and GG for him. That was tremendous to see. So congratulations to everybody for the previous race. Of course, form would suggest we're going to be showing Vader, Arya, and Beregoz in that order on the podium, but who knows? That's why we are here to watch. Now, there's quite a strong wind for the drivers here. We've got 3.5 meters per second, virtually to the east, maybe like a east-southeast direction, 3.5 meters per second. Some drivers just communicating that they just need some changes to their settings. I hope that the sound is all working out nicely for you. Hopefully
I can't really change and alter a running system, as I got some great advice last time out, but I have done what I can to address the issues that we've been having. So my apologies for those, but hopefully we will have vroom vrooms for you the whole time, and I know everyone is a huge fan of all the vrooms happening. I'll try and turn off those pesky driver names as well, because we like to stick pretty pure here. And this is car number 11 with him. Unfortunately, it looks like just Yenk and Scavy, if Ben Cox is watching, just Yenk and Scavy seem to have their Twitch running today. Hopefully more drivers will get it going for the race, but those are the ones that Ben can follow picture in picture, or he can drag and expand that screen right full screen over his second device, so he can really closely evaluate driving styles, particularly today, of our Buckstein drivers. So there we go, waiting to get what we need from everybody. Let's just see if I can get you. Can I put that? Necessarily put that qualifying time back on the screen. I should be able to. I should really do that and put it just on the left of screen, but sadly not. So waiting to see. AJ saying Beregoz, I think. We are looking at Beregoz drives for Delesi, if that's who you meant. Yeah, we are following the Brocargo car. This is Joe Gon Sim. That was Jazzy Beats. That's why I wasn't completely familiar. This is Joe Gon Sim racing here for Delesi, waiting for the race to begin. It will be live momentarily for you. I hope you do all the good things. You are already subscribed to SVR Racing, and subscribe to Webber Red 5 as well, please. But make sure you like the video today while you're sitting waiting for us. Share it out with friends. Post your favourite moment in the comments with a timestamp. Just do HH:MM:SS, and we should be able to track those, and we'll be clipping and getting the best things through for you. That is Arya then. Very quick in qualifying. Has been second both times this race, and that is the end of qualifying. We are getting ready then for the race, and hopefully I will be able to get you some. Oh, I'm not getting Hector working. I have refreshed. Hopefully this will refresh to the race once we get underway. It is going to be a fantastic start away from the grid for everybody. It is drop the clutch and go, go, go. Coach Dave Academy, Vader away on the clean side of the grid incredibly quickly and doing a great job on this early part of the lap. Arya getting the overlap past Beregoz as well, and it is a little bit of chaos further back, as I will just try and catch all of those changes. Bedsley Mario moving forward. Looks like Vicinity dropping down at this stage, and right at the back of the grid, Yenk the Tank in P11 with Joe Gon Sim in P12. Jazzy Beats at the back with Scabby, who was the one who was most adversely affected through the course of that first couple of corners and the trip up the S's as they go through Dunlop and into Degner 1 and 2 for the first time. It is Vader ahead of Beregoz, ahead of Arya, and it looks like Vader's connection to Hector might have just failed. Hopefully we'll get it back, but no, Vader has indeed had a problem. Where is Vader? He seems to have disappeared on us. He's down in 14th place, is Vader. Let's see if I can see exactly what just happened to the Dark Lord of the Sith himself. He's gone wide, out of Degner into the gravel. He's managed to keep it running. He's damaged the front and front right of the car. This is nightmare scenario for the driver who has won every race so far in the second season here in the 2025 VR Sim Racing World Champion. Arya leads us ahead of Beregoz and Stig, and we have got some running then going on. So let's join Vader's stream as quickly as possible, picture in picture, and we should be able to see a comeback on its build here at the moment. Arya leads from Beregoz with Stig in third and QT in fourth position overall. We've then got Mario in fifth, and BaloFey in sixth place. Vicinity slipping down to seventh at this particular time. It looks like Vader's still having issues. He's pitted. Okay, to mend the damage, change strategy quickly and get a change of tyre going on. So a big change for Vader out there, as we try to see what else is happening throughout the course of the race. I was going to show you start replays, but it's Vader who slipped all the way down to the back of the grid. My apologies for blaming Hector from the outset there. That is very poor form from me. BaloFey in 6th with Vicinity in 7th. BaloFey is chasing down Beregoz Mario at the moment, and then we have a huge train of drivers running through. Vader's back on track then, but obviously a long way back. So let's join Jogon Sim instead, picture in picture as we run through. My apologies. We've got obviously the issue here with the double track map. So we'll try and reposition that track map directly over the top. And we've got some great new features to show you. But every time I hit replay, we get the full information on the screen, unfortunately, and that is not ideal for us here. BaloFey in 6th. Arya leads though from Beregoz and QT. Stig in 4th, and then this gaggle of drivers got Mario, BaloFey, Vicinity and Yank the Tank all in a line with each other. Looks like Mario running well at this stage and chasing down the Stig. Mario starting on the hard tyres, spinning himself into the pit lane. Can he recover this one? He just about stayed out of the pit lane. He's going to try and rejoin safely, and he's doing a great job at the moment, but a huge tank slapper, and then he goes into the pits anyway. My apologies here. Oh dear, almost colliding with the pit wall. No, he did collide with the pit wall, so he has damaged that car in a big way, unfortunately for him. Vader and Beregoz Mario with huge problems at the start of our race. Let's join Scabby then in the midfield here in P10, chasing down Senor Dude and picking up quite a bit of understeer running through the S's. These aero heavy cars are very reliant, of course, on the clean air on the front wing, and then going through the S's this close to one another is problematic for the drivers. Solshock is just behind this group. Will he be trying to make a one-stopper work again? It's lap 3 of 39. Arya ahead of Beregoz, ahead of QT at this stage of the race at the top 3 of the order. Let's go back then to P4 and find out where the Stig is in relation. He's got a 1.9 second deficit to brother and teammate QT. BaloFey still within sight, and then we've got a nice battle between I think that's Vicinity catching BaloFey for the Team Mega. So let's hope that these two can navigate this run successfully and smoothly. Looks like BaloFey moving out of the way there. Vicinity on the medium tyres and BaloFey on the hard, so they're working together to make sure that they can optimize each other's strategies here. So while Vicinity is on the medium tyres, he ought to be in front. He ought to have the faster car at this stage, and BaloFey will play second fiddle, try and follow, try and stay in the clean air, excuse me, in the dirty air, in the slipstream of the teammate in front, and then try and eke out the fuel as much as possible. He can afford to save a little bit of fuel here. He won't be wanting to threaten his teammate as long as his teammate is quicker than the car behind him, Yank the Tank. But as far as Yank is concerned, there is plenty to chase down. Let's join, let's follow Yank, shall we, on picture in picture for a moment, as we'll join with his multi-picture stream, which is fantastic. I love the way that he's got everything set up here. And Jogon Sim in P8 at the moment, driving a great race down in P8, but on the hard tyres, and just trying to get into a good operating window on this 4th lap of the 39 in total. We've got Senor Dude in 9th place, and then followed by Scabby for Bugstein, by Solshock for Kimmy's. Jazzy Beats is in 12th place, having started at the back and taken a very gentle start to the race, just trying to pick up some points here for his team, having his normal seat in the Avery Newey division with the likes of me and Stormborn and Pat Finn as well, and Jazzy Beats stepping up then in his Senna helmet to try and produce some good lines. That's Senor Dude with a problem. Let's try and join him then and see what happened to Senor Dude, shall we? Where is he? Here he is. It looks like he just dropped down the order. So coming on out of Spoon 2 and a tank slapper. He almost rescued it, avoided the wall with the front tyre, and then trying to back onto the circuit, waiting a long time to get back on track. And here he is, just getting out of his teammate's way. That's Vader making the overtake. Vader now on the hard tyres, running very long here, trying to use the mother of all undercuts, I think, to try and just one stop further from this race. That's Jazzy Beats with a mistake as well on the lap, unfortunately. Let's find out what happened to him. Going through the Casio triangle, gets up onto the curb, and you can do that in the Adrian Newey car, I think. But certainly the SF23 not allowing him to abuse the curbs to quite the same extent. Arya still leads from Beregoz. Let's go find out how big that gap is. Well, it's only 1.1 seconds between the two of them. Beregoz still chasing down Arya. Both drivers on the medium tyre. QT's also on the medium, but some 8 seconds back now after just 5 laps. But staying ahead of brother the Stig on the hard tyres. Jan Plak showing incredibly well at this stage in P3 and P4. Vicinity and BaloFey gaining positions now in 5th and in 6th on mediums and hards respectively, as the medium shot Yank the Tank, as you've been watching picture in picture, has been slowly catching the drivers behind. We've got a nice battle though developing between stalwarts and admin staff of SVR. This is Solshock versus Joe Gonsim. Solshock's screaming around the outside. They're going to try and do it and go too wide through 130R, but Joe very sensibly yielding on the inside of that corner, not wanting to have an accident this early stage of the race. We've seen how badly that can affect the drivers, but not wanting to compete here. I think he would have known that Solshock's traction coming out of the previous corner indicated, if he was in any doubt, that the driver challenging was on softer tyres, and so his race not really with him at this stage. Yes, he could hold him up, but that is just as dangerous as it is profitable usually. Joe Gonsim doing a fantastic job. AJ claiming we've got some problems from Solshock. Haven't seen them myself. Solshock making that move stick that we've seen on the main track, on the main screen at the moment. Yank still chases down BaloFey. We've got a problem for QT though, haven't we? Let's try and catch that. This is really helping actually to find exactly what is happening for the drivers. This is QT. It's Degner 2 again. Exactly what caught out Vader, and it's so slow to recover. Then you've got to be like ridiculously careful on your rejoin, making sure that you're not blocking another driver or powering out of the gravel and grass, and you can spin the car for the second time. That was QT, then down from 3rd all the way down to 7th with the most minor of little slips, wide of Degner 2. But as Bangkok's saying, easy done mistake. There's a bump on the exit of the chicane. Very easy to unsettle the car, he says. So he's letting off our drivers for making those mistakes, and right he should, I'm sure. BaloFey up to 5th, but Vicinity is now in 4th place. He's on the medium tyres, remember, and can see the Stig only 1.7 seconds in front. I have to say, this is really helping the new animation here for what we've got to see. We can see all the gaps on the screen at the moment. Let's have a look at Senor Dude then, picture in picture, because he is following his teammate Vader, who has won both races so far in the season. And this will be some miraculous recovery if he can go on to win the race today. And hopefully we will see some great overtakes coming from Vader. But he's 13 seconds away from Scavy at the moment, having made that pit stop that was unscheduled, as we ride with Vicinity as he tries to close in on the Stig, who has had tremendous pace at this early point of the race. We've got some challenging going on here for Scavy. He is just 0.6 of a second away from Joe Gonsim. Let's ride with him, shall we, at the moment, and see Scavy as he is 0.9 of a second away only. Also on the medium tyres, Joe, remember, on the hards. So Scavy moving his way forward, as Peter says, go Arya. Good to have you with us, Peter, and speaking up as well. If you are watching with us and you haven't yet had your say, had your prediction for the podium, please speak up, be part of this today, and I'll do my best to give you whatever I can. That was a bit of a mystery spark that came out through Spoon 2, nowhere near another car. Hopefully we don't set any of the grass on fire here in these cold and cloudy conditions today, as Scavy has closed in to within 3.5 of a second. Then they go through 130R. Joe is now defending as they head down into the Casio triangle. Scavy braking early for a good exit. That's his plan anyway, and we'll just chase view follow Scabby as we run through. He's using that overtake button. If you can see, well, you can't see, I'm afraid, at the moment with the with the selection that I've made on screen. You can see that overtake section, how much overtake is remaining for the drivers. Let me know if you are keen to see a driver and their stream, unless it's QT who and Bedsley Mario, who you can't see. Unfortunately, they've declined to stream today, as well as Arya, in fact, as well, and it's profiting him by 2 places from his start position. And running through. Let's have a look, shall we, at Arya and see what he has been chatting to our AI engineer Hector as we watch Scabby trying to go the wide angle, then round Joe Gonsim, and it worked. He sort of scared Joe Gonsim off the ideal racing line there. Joe being careful, as he has every right to be, but in the end yielding a position. But yes, he's been asked to keep. Maintain the gap to Beregoz is more than 5. Update me when the gap is more than 5. Yeah, he can't do that at this moment, but I'm sure he'll be learning as much as he can. That's the kind of thing that we want to see. Let's have a look then. We've also got this amazing fuel consumption projection and when the race is likely to reach its refueling point here for our drivers as we watch Joe Gonsim following behind. I'm going to cut to QT, I hope you don't mind, but 0.6 of a second only away from Yank the Tank. You really need a broadcaster here at the moment because that is tremendously difficult. But that is Arya's fuel economy situation at the moment. Then we've got an overtake coming from QT, main picture down the classic move into turn 1. Overtakes Yank the Tank there, and very nicely done on the medium tyres. Yank also on the medium tyres, but at the moment QT with some great pace, of course, pace that should put him in 3rd or 4th position by rights, and obviously quicker than our current P7 Yank the Tank by some margin. A 140.4 and 39.5, his fastest, a 138.9 prior to the trip into the gravel that caught out Vader as well earlier on. Where is Vader? He is currently in 13th position. I think Vader might have had another problem, unfortunately. He is down there at the back of the grid. No, he is not all the way at the back. Jazzy is still at the back of the grid, so he's running a great job. A great drive at the moment as Vader is in P13. I've been asked by Red Snow to switch up to Beregoz. By all means, I'm happy to do that. I'll just keep an eye on Vader then. Let's see, I'll track Beregoz in a moment, but we'll just wait for Vader to perhaps make an overtake on Mario as we see Beregoz just registering his lap times at the moment. Fuel remaining on the cars. Around half a tank at this stage, just about for everybody. Vader being a little bit impatient around the outside and unfortunately going wide as a result. It's an unusual overtake there, the outside move down into spoon 1, and unfortunately Vader paying for it there momentarily as he is struggling, but he's mashing that overtake button now to try and move his way forward as much as he can. So Vader having to close that gap back up to Mario. Let's stay with Vader while we cut to Beregoz, shall we? Here is Beregoz running, so you can watch Vader actually with a great exit out of the last curve, and you can see that fantastic view where he's watching himself pass the car on his left. Vader completing the move and going up into 12th position. Beregoz is 1.2 seconds only away from Arya. He has used more fuel though, with 50% of the fuel remaining. Not a big factor on this medium tyre first stint for our medium starters, because of course they are going to be tyre limited rather than fuel limited. The gap though between P2 and P3, Beregoz to Stig, is 15 seconds after just 10 laps of our 39. Then we've got Vicinity in 4th place, who's pretty close himself to the next run. I'm going to check in with Soulshock though. Let's have a look at Soulshock, who is catching Yank the Tank. And again, medium tyres. Soulshock using the overtake, using nearly half of his allocation of overtake push to pass, and making the overtake much easier through 130R. Then he's got to just make sure he brakes a little bit earlier. He's then going to find some dirty air in front from the car of QT as well. QT also on those medium tyres, but Solshock moving forward. Yenk, unfortunately, looks like has spent quite a lot out of his tyres in this first stint already. And let's just check him. Yeah, much more tyre wear from Yenk the Tank, unfortunately. Yenk, though, progressing at the moment. Still on the pace in that P8, having lost 2 positions in recent laps. Solshock, his fastest lap was a 1:38.6 on lap 5. That is, let's have a look. There's a new feature that we've got for you. I want to see then Arya here. If I click here, I will see the projected gap, the projected point he will come out of the pit lane when he pits. You can see a little little dash on the track map. He can't see this, of course, unfortunately, at this stage, but that is where he will feed out. And if he has a teammate currently using Hector, his teammate can keep that gap in mind. So that has just put that little red line on the track map, projecting where he will pit out. And at the moment, there is not a healthy gap for him to do so. Fantastic tool then that Beregoz has designed for our race engineers here. When everyone is using Hector successfully, it is going to be tremendous. The gap then at the front of the field, Beregoz is just 9/10 of a second away. Make that 1.1 now, just as I cut to it, as Arya screams into turn 1 very nicely. Let's just check out their relative tyre wear. Very similar, but Beregoz is using a little bit more fuel at this stage, as the drivers are nearing the end of the functional life of those medium tyres and trying to complete what's happening. I'm just seeing a problem for Solshock there on the yeah, there we have it. Fantastic to see that Hector alerting me that Solshock has had a problem, and it's where we've seen a problem before. He managed to arrest the car into the gravel very nicely, but then he's caught a little bit in between decisions as to how best to right himself onto the race. But brilliant to use Hector there, who was alerting me that there was an alert on the track to show that a car had a problem. So yeah, brilliant to see another tremendous feature unlocked from the power of Hector. Let's see Vicinity picture in picture then for a few moments. I also want to see what Vicinity has been saying to Hector. Been asking the Stig's fastest lap and what is the driver in front of me's fastest lap. I think Hector getting a little bit confused about Stig's presence there for a moment. Some say Hector can't follow the Stig. What we know is you know how to finish it. Anyway, Solshock then with that error earlier on. Can I switch to Beregoz again, or is that what you were asking? No, that is the same live chat earlier. Ben Cox enjoyed the move around the outside of the Degners from earlier on. Yeah, where it was a special one. So that is what Vicinity is currently asking of Hector, our AI engineer. And we should have a little look then, I think, at Vader currently, and he's re-caught his teammate, Senor Dude, about to make an overtake, making a bit of a meal of it there for a moment. Not well, Senor Dude not lifting too early, trying to give the toe over, but Vader using the overtake button again and trying to overtake his teammate without costing either of them too many points. What does the yellow bar under the fuel represent? So that is showing their current mini sector lap progress. So yellow, slower than normal; blue, personal best; green, faster than normal; and then obviously purple, fastest of the session. Are your traditional racing colours, but that's what that is for. That is their lap progress at the point that we can see. So roughly 46, a range of between 45 and 47% fuel. No, Beregoz has used the most fuel, and 44% remaining on the car. But as I said before, in this first medium stint, less of a problem for our drivers because they need to change tyres and refuel anyway. But that will build into a problem later on. If they're going to two-stop, it becomes a double problem when they fill up with fuel. Every litre of fuel used is a litre of fuel you have to refill, or that you don't have available at the end of the race. So it's absolutely essential that drivers balance, as Vader usually does. Tremendous tyre conservation, great pace, and fuel conservation. All of those things tend to work against each other. So they are on a balancing act the entire way, especially with their setup as well, to make sure that they have the most raceable car that they can. Here is Vader chasing down Solshock at the moment, and let's see if I can find anybody else that we haven't necessarily had a look at before. So vicinity, let's have a look at BaloFey's point of view and show his pit estimate at this point. I think that may not show because I can't actually see his activity at the moment. No, okay. So I can't see his fuel usage while I'm looking at his stream. So it's slightly unfortunate, but it is the way it is, unfortunately. Anyway, running on through the next few laps as Vader then chases down Solshock, who has his hands full. Has got action in front and behind now for Solshock. That is going to be a nervous situation for him. Fast driver coming through, as he was, as Flash saying Beregoz getting close to Arya. Within a second, absolutely not as close as this battle, but tell you what, why don't we watch with Beregoz then from his point of view while we watch this battle on the main screen, as Vader is well, not being quite so careful through Degna 2 as perhaps I would be. He's already erased that bad memory out of the bank, and he's now charging hard and doing everything that he can to put a move on Solshock. Obviously, every lap he's stuck behind a slower car, with all due respect to Solshock, is a lap that he's not able to run his ultimate pace. Can he save a little bit of fuel? Can he save a little bit of tyres during this period? Yes. But at the moment, I think Solshock is likely to be trying to run a similar strategy to what he did before. Can he one-stop around Suzuka of all places? Round the outside tries Vader then, kicking out the dirt and going to go too wide through 130R. They did this earlier on, and the inside man yielded. There's less room for Vader to brake here. They still go side by side. Tremendous respect from both drivers. We continue to look at an empty track, but Vader completes the move coming out of last curve, and that was a tremendous run then for the drivers. Let's follow this then as they run side by side, and then they continue to. You can see Vader didn't want to brake heavily on the inside. Joe almost blocking both of them from making their ideal run. But then Vader picking up that slipstream on the way out, as well as the optimal acceleration line out of the corner. And he's also managed to clear Jogon Sim. Let's try and see what happened with there as Vader slides his way through. Jogon Sim with a great exit, using the overtake once again down into the first corner. And then it looked like Solshock challenging from behind as well, but Jogon Sim resisting the pressure from Solshock. Vader completing the move up to P7. Beregoz now, picture in picture, is only 0.8 of a second away. Let's follow him and his progress as Arya now pits off the medium tyre, and Beregoz goes through, despite the fact that he was using less tyre wear at the start of the race. Through he goes. Hi to Aussie, who joins us at this point in the racing. Great to have you with us, as Beregoz is in P1, Arya in P2 now, and the Stig will presumably pick up that P2 momentarily. Switching to the soft tyres, did I see that right? From Arya, yes I did. So committing to a two-stop, but they have to use the medium and hard tyres, but using a short middle stint then Arya, going for the soft tyres, perhaps going to go for a fastest lap attempt, although that's not point-worthy here at SVR. Thanks to the boost being such an issue, and we can't really use that. And why is there a Spa advert on the side of Suzuka? That confuses me a little bit. Beregoz leads then by 16 seconds, but has not pitted yet, as Arya is on his outlap at the moment. You can see Vader now 13 seconds away from QT, having made that first big stop. He'll try and run a different strategy now, maybe have to use the hard tyres twice potentially, we will see. And then you see the beautiful Kimi's Racing Team car here with the Ferrari badged engine running for Arya in P2. Let's find you a good battle right now. That looks to be for Joe down in 9th place, chasing Solshock. He's got 3 seconds behind is Yank the Tank at the moment, but Arya, as I say, still on that outlap and moving through nicely. Beregoz into the pits then. 38% fuel remaining, 38 litres. It's a 100-litre tank, of course. Arya will presumably action the undercut here by pitting first, already having a small lead in hand. Let's perhaps ride with Arya and see from his perspective, shall we? Will Beregoz emerge from the pits around him? He will, behind, and in fact Arya on those new soft tyres has opened his gap out to nearly 2 seconds. There will be probably 2.5 by the time Beregoz has navigated the first 2 or 3 corners, and he's now Beregoz on the medium tyres. So he's gone medium. He will then have to go hard at the end of the race, pun not intended, but still rocking that Mika Hakkinen helmet. We've got Mika Hakkinen and we've got Senna represented today, as Stormon says, back in the lead. As Golly June says you've got this Arya as well. So Arya really bringing in the fans today, which is great to see as well there. So Arya leading by 2 seconds now from Beregoz. Stig in third position, has not pitted, started on the hard tyres, Stig, with Vicinity coming through the Kobayashi hairpin, followed by BaloFey, and then the second of the Jamplakt cars, QT here in the black and gold Lamborghini badged car, some 11 seconds further behind, having had his excursion out of Degnan 2. We'll find the same thing that happened to our double race winner so far, Vader. He's in P7. He's got 8 seconds to catch QT. In front, Soul Shock coming through in P8, and Jogon Sim and Yank the Tank navigate that hairpin as well beautifully. Then we've got Senor Dude in 11th. We've got Scabby running in 12th, followed by Mario in 13th, and it's still being a very difficult, not easy, making it actually incredibly difficult being green here in SVR at the moment. For Bro Cargo, Mario 13th place, Jazzy Beats 14th, but I must say Jazzy Beats keeping up nicely because he is stepping up to reserve for his team from Channel, Ayrton Senna with the helmet there as well. So Jazzy Beats, he's got the Canadian flag on the car. I think he's just borrowing his teammate's livery and car today. Arya is pushing very hard indeed on this lap. Perhaps we ought to stay with him, maybe picture in picture, because he is pushing a Laquelle with his Ferrari, with Beregoz behind now 2.7 seconds. So running a very good race at this point. We've got Yank the Tank chasing down Jogon Sim. Let's ride and watch with these two as we have, I think, well, I was going to go with Arya's point of view, but unfortunately, as I said, he's not streaming today, so we can't capture that flying lap at the moment. But I think a new flying lap will be coming in very soon. He's managed a 36.2 at this time, so hoping to see what is happening with him. Let's have a look at what is he chatting with Hector about as Yank the Tank moves around in the braking zone, sneaks one down the inside into the Kobayashi hairpin. That took a little bit of cooperation there from Jogon Sim. Here we go, a better run through the Degners, I'm sure. New hard tyres for Yank the Tank, and then following through using the overtake as well. And then look at this, there was barely a car width to go, and there was a little bit of contact, but I think that's probably fair enough. Joe declining to turn completely into Yank the Tank, but a great overtake for Yank up into P9. And there you have Arya's and his communication on the screen with Hector running through. That is then Joe dropping down to be equidistant between Yank in front and Senor Du behind his Soul Shock pits, and we've had Yank the Tank unfortunately slip off the racetrack after making a great overtake. We see this so often for our drivers, unfortunately. They get the opportunity to get some clear air on the car. Yank the Tank long on the brakes into the first part, gets the tyres slightly dirty maybe, and then what happens here? He's way into the acceleration phase, and then just essentially the rear axle saying absolutely not, you are not going to give me that kind of treatment. And Yank the Tank moving down the order, dropping back behind Jogon Sim and Single Dude on that particular lap. So a disaster for Yank the Tank after a great run earlier on. Senor Dude then into 8th place, is just 1.3 seconds away from Jogon Sim 7. As Ben isn't enjoying the hairpin there, hairpin naming. Yeah, I'm going to make that stick. That's my mission for Suzuka anyway. He made that inside dive famous. He deserves some credit does Kamui Kobayashi. So running along, we go. As we're in that second phase of the race now, it's lap 19. Is that Joe closing in on the car in front? No, they're just lapping the Bro Carga of Jazzy Beats, who is doing a fantastic job out there, I have to say. What news of Vader? Well, he is currently running 6th position. Actually catching these, I believe, as BaloFey pits off his hard tyres for his first run. It looks like both Vicinity and BaloFey are pitting at the same time, despite starting on different tyres. So BaloFey trying to shed the hards as soon as possible, and I think conversely you've got Vicinity trying to use the mediums for as long as possible to maybe one-stop race this one. Getting through to end of lap 19 could well open the possibility of running a further 20 on the hard, so potentially Vicinity playing a bit of a blinder here for his mega team. We know for a fact Arya will not be one-stopping because he's put the soft tyres on. Let's follow Senior Dude then in picture-in-picture as we just check on Arya at the head of the field. As he's, well, I tried to check on Arya, but he'd already disappeared past the camera, as Arya is 2.3 seconds in front of Beregoz. His fastest lap then, a 1:36.153 on the soft tyres, but he'll be back in the pits very soon. Really, these tyres only lasting about 5 or 6 laps for the drivers. The soft tyres, they are just about good enough to run 2 fast laps in qualifying, and even then, our drivers mostly declining a second back-to-back lap and going in for an in and out and a fresh set of softs during qualifying. Arya's lead 1.7 seconds now only, and he's already feeling those soft tyres. So I think we'll be heading in towards the pit lane soon enough. What will Beregoz be able to do then, having also committed to a 2-stop race? We'll be running medium and medium so far. Arya running medium and soft. Arya managed to extend the gap, but I think is now going to be losing too much time to make that soft tyre stint really work for him. And going fully off the circuit there for a moment, we just saw Senor Dude. It was Joe Gone Sim. Let's try and find what happened to Joe here. Where is he? As he runs through 130R, he's defending heavily in towards the Casio triangle, and then too heavily, in fact, unfortunately, he outbrakes himself, gets a nudge in the rear, and I wonder if Senor Dude got any front damage. He managed to avoid front damage. I'll be very pleased to see, but yeah, that's unfortunate then for Joe, who's dropped down. I think Joe making his way into the pits as Yank the Tank runs wide, running through turn 5, 6. I was counting my corner numbers through the S's there. I should have just looked. It was turn 6. My apologies as they go into Degnan now, but he managed to recover that one and rescue it very well. Let's see where Arya is. But he's going for another lap on the softs, despite the fact that he's losing time hand over fist here to Beregoz, who is able to run a lot smoother. I wonder if Beregoz has been able to establish from Hector what tyres Arya is on. Still the support coming in for Arya, but it is a losing battle at the moment on those soft tyres. I wonder if this strategic option from Ferrari has been problematic here for Arya. I won't make any further comments about that, but it's equal parts Ferrari, and I think they're running the Honda engine actually inside, but it's Ferrari badged and operated, the Kimi's racing team, as the Volvo powered Delesi car heads on through. Volvo trucks powered as well, so should have pretty good torque in the engine, but perhaps not quite the low speed engine power that they perhaps looking for. Should be able to tow their teammate along very easily though. Arya 3.5 tenths now away from Beregoz, and as I said, really struggling on those soft tyres. Surely he's seen that gap disappearing, and he'll be thinking it's time to pit. No doubt. In fact, defending heavily into the Casio triangle goes Arya, hoping to just arrest the progress momentarily of Beregoz. Let's see, Arya does peel into the pits then, and Beregoz takes over the lead of the race. He's had it for just less than 1 lap so far this race, but here he is then in P1 now, and on a slightly better strategy, I would hasten to suggest at the moment. Down 5 positions is Vedster Mario so far, down 3 is Vader. Vader moving his way forward. Let's have a look at Vader, shall we, and see exactly what is happening for him. As Arya then comes out of the pits, level, I believe, with the Stig. There he is, and he comes out just behind him now, fitting the medium tyres. So it may just be that a change of compound is all that's required for our drivers. So that could work out well. I thought it was medium and hards that were required, but it looks like it's just a change of compound is required for them. Maybe only the medium tyre is the required tyre. I'm not entirely sure about that one. People that know better than me in the live chat will have to update me. Perhaps someone like Flash or possibly Biggerwood will be able to update me as to whether I've got that correct or not. But so Arya going medium, soft, medium here today, and declining to use the hard tyres as he catches Stig. Should get great drive here. Stig on old hard tyres, waiting for his pit stop. Arya hasn't actually put a lot of fuel in. Has he fueled this car? Let's see. When it comes to Arya's progress, let's have a look at his pit estimate. Sorry, his fuel consumption. What does that actually say? I can't read it this close. It says he will run out of fuel on lap 37. There are 39 laps remaining, so he's hoping to outperform his current fuel usage, or splash and dash at the end, but that would not be particularly good. That is the fuel estimate then. He will run out of fuel on lap 37 by his current fuel usage. Brilliant information there from Hector, as Beregoz is currently 24.5 seconds ahead. Let's see if we can find that pit estimate. Where is that going to show? It's going to show him staying out in front of Arya, I believe, by the look of things. It looks like he will maintain his gap. I'm going to keep that estimate on there for a few minutes, because it's really important in this phase of the race where Beregoz comes out of the pits relative to Arya here on track. Stig pits and has been overtaken by Vader and by BaloFey. Where is Vicinity going to be featuring in relation to this group, as Vicinity is 4.2 seconds behind the Stig. Vicinity almost certainly running towards to the end of the race, I think, on those hard tyres. One stopping, I think, this one, as BaloFey is now in 4th place, having overtaken the Stig through that pit sequence. Again, a driver who is hoping to try and eke out the remainder of his fuel. Just 1/3 of a tank remaining on the car for BaloFey. So yeah, he'll be hoping to get as close to that finish point as he possibly can. So let's see if BaloFey can make it work. We've had 39 minutes, we've had 24 laps, and at the moment you are watching Beregoz picture in picture as he tries to stay ahead after the pit stop relative to Arya, and at the moment that is working out very nicely indeed. But of course, as we get further and further into this race, we will see if that ends up working for him. Let me just, as I say, I can't easily see exactly what this is going to say. In fact, he's predicted to run out of fuel on lap 34 at the moment, so he will almost certainly have to pit for that second time. So there you have it. Information from Hector indicating that our drivers are slightly short-fueled. This is BaloFey catching Vader at this stage, just 0.8 of a second away from the double winner of our 2-race-old 2025 VR Sim Racing World Championship. Of course, it's the top tier. This is for real glory here at the at SVR. And I hope that you are enjoying it so far, and you've done all the right things for the channel. Please make sure that you are subscribed. We've got about 450 plus members in our Discord, and if you had all of those subscribing plus one family member, we would be in a fabulous place and starting to grow the channel. So that's all we're asking: one family member or friend, and yourself if you're a member of our amazing Discord community. You can find a link if you are a VR driver and you haven't yet joined us. You can find a link in the description of either this video or one of the previous ones in the playlist. Make sure you're following the playlist as well. And as I say, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel at WebORed5 for all the other races of our current season. And there'll be uploaded to this channel probably around 8 days after they went live on mine for this 2025 season. BaloFey catching Vader now, 0.6 of a second away only, and hunting down the former double winner. These two are great rivals, great friends, but of course that all goes out of the window. Oh, it's been completely spoiled for us, the fight, because Vader now pits for his final pit stop. Oh, that's such a shame. But yeah, unfortunately, that's the situation. Lap 26 and 39, and Vader pits for what I presume to be his final pit stop. As Vicinity, for a moment there, showed in the lead, but that was just a fault, I think, as drivers are perhaps hugging that pit wall, and it looks like they're in the pits to Hector, our AI race and driver engineer. The Stig is now just 1.5 seconds away from BaloFey, running on those medium tyres. He's had a pretty clean race to this point. I won't do any cursing of drivers. That's not cussing, that's cursing of our drivers. I get big complaints when I do that. Can we see people's overtake remaining? Yeah, you should be able to. So, okay, thank you for the request there, Biggerwood. You can see that at the moment the Stig has around a quarter of his overtake push to pass allocation. I believe that is electrical deployment at this point. This is Beregoz just putting a lap on, and he's got about a third of his overtake deployment remaining. Arya has been saving a great deal. He's now closing in on Beregoz and closing in. Let's just check on that pit estimate point on this one. Where does that come out for Beregoz? I'm not seeing it on the track map, so I'm not sure it's working for us, is it? Let's go back to Beregoz. Where is that working? Oh, now look at that. Arya is closing in on the pit estimate output. So that looks to be 20 seconds, maybe there or thereabouts, for that difference between the two. Beregoz then having used 2/3 of his tank of overtake. Arya just about half, just over half. BaloFey not much at all. He has a decent amount left. He's in third place with Stig in fourth, with a quarter, as we've mentioned before. Vicinity only using just over half of his allocation. I think Arya, with his fastest lap of 1:36.1, probably was using boost at that point on the soft tyres. Vicinity in fifth, 10 seconds gap in front, 11 seconds gap in front, 10 seconds gap behind. Vader now out on the medium tyres. Has been using his boost, but has been saving it, just like Vicinity and Arya, for the final stint of the race here. Lightning McQueen number 95 for QT here with his Ricimdo and Lamborghini sponsored Yamplacked Interiors car. QT with just over 1/4 remaining on his push to pass. Then we've got Mario in 8th place. Again, similar amount remaining, with Solshock in 9th. He's been perhaps the most used, push to passer user of this race so far. He's in 9th position, with Senor Dude in 10th. With the least used, I think, to this point. Senor Dude saving it all for a stint at the end of the race. Yank the Tank in P11 has about a third of his push to pass remaining. Teammate Scavvy for Bergstein Transport Service has a lot, just under half remaining. And then Joe also saving for the final third of the race. He's got, as you can see on screen. Oh dear, I'm busy talking to you about this, and I've had Beregoz's stream on the screen the whole time. I'm telling the truth. I'm not making up any lies at the moment. Jogon Sim, about 60% remaining. Jazzy Beats hasn't pressed his push to pass. I'm not sure he's found the button yet. He'd be forgiven for that because he doesn't use it in the Adrian Newey division. So that could be the situation, unfortunately, for Jazzy out there. So if we have a Brokaga teammate watching who can contact Jazzy and say, find your push to pass button stat, then that's absolutely what we want to see. This is the Stig then, who was very close to BaloFey for a moment. I think BaloFey having a problem there. And as Beregoz close from lapping Joe. Beregoz, you can see better than I can on the track map, unfortunately. So you tell me, because you can bring your screen much closer to your face than I can. I'm on a very small window for my stream output here,
right now. So please give me that information if you can at Stormborn. This is the Stig then, 0.8 of a second away from BaloFey as we ride picture in picture with the Stig. I'll tell you what, let's ride with BaloFey and perhaps we'll watch from behind him, shall we? And we can see kind of forward and aft the same battle going on at the moment. This is coming out of last curve right now, using that push to pass because he can feel the pressure of the car behind. And we're looking for, I would say, a braking point into turn 1. We go flat out all the way to the curb entry of turn 2 before we dare to even touch the brakes as we hit, I think, 10 laps to go now on our race. You can see fuel remaining on the fuel map indicator says 0, but it's actually 20% remaining for BaloFey. I think that's about accurate. Yeah, that is absolutely accurate from Hector. You can see that on his on the tower view at the moment. So hopefully enjoying that one as we then cut back to Stig, chasing him down. I think this is the, well, I would say the closest battle on track, but it's not, because I'm going to stay with that battle picture in picture. We're going to have a look at Vader catching Vicinity now with his Coach Dave Academy car, catching the similar colour choice Mega Transport. Red on black for Mega, black on red for Coach Dave. As Vader goes very wild round the outside, tries to cut back by using the grass momentarily. That was Vicinity just parking on the apex momentarily. Then he opens the door on the inside through 200R, which is this double right-hander on the way into Spoon. But Vader, I think, possibly using the boost as he goes through and passing Vicinity, who will then suffer the dirty air on the way out. There's hard tyres versus medium, not really a fair fight. Newer mediums against slightly older hards for Vicinity. But Vader, with obviously the pace of the championship so far, pole position today, but with that big error very early on in our lap and running out of grip and heading off into the gravel on the exit of Degner 2, as now he gets a wiggle coming on out of the last curve as well. He's really fighting the car at this stage, but pushing hard, as you would of course expect. Vicinity P6 and running with his teammate in P3 at the moment. Can Mega score a podium today? Can Beregoz and Arya score the maximum points available while Vader is having a rough race? We will have a jumbled up view, a reversal almost in that top 3. We'll see if Vader is able to catch the Stig as well. The Stig, I think, should be fueled and tired to a finish, so this will be a straight fight on the road. 20 seconds to catch and pass the Stig for P4 in 9 laps is all he has. Mario dropping down the order thanks to a pit stop. No accident happening there for Mario. No alarm signals for me from Hector on the tower. But SVR, I think that's Tequila, saying this is better than F1. It's certainly a Suzuka, no doubt. But he's concerned about Beregoz's fuel. Let's have another look then at Beregoz's fuel situation, shall we, while we continue to watch the Stig catching possibly BaloFey. I just want to make sure that we have a look then at pit estimate. Excuse me, not pit estimate. We look at that fuel allocation and consumption for. I'm sorry that it kind of looks a little bit clumsy with me moving it around, but it's showing lap 34 still for Beregoz at this stage. He's going to have to run a splash and dash. But then if you compare the same situation for Arya, I think he's okay at this point. You look at how he's changed his fuel consumption right now, and it's now looking like he's going to make it through to the end of the race. So that is the straight fight between the two of them. Beregoz, let's have a look at his pit estimate exit, and I think that is now absolutely level with Arya. That is 20 seconds exactly is the pit estimate. Arya is going to be so close. Beregoz is going to come out on soft tyres. We are certainly going to have a very, very tight battle at the end of this race. So stay with us and you'll see Beregoz versus Arya for the win, I do believe, as Vader has caught the Stig by 3 seconds in 2 laps. That is more, I think that is definitely sufficient to at least pile the pressure on the Stig, who is focused at the moment on a potential podium, but could end up losing that
to Vader if Vader gets his way here. And of course, you know that Vader is very strong with the Force, so we will see if he can harness the dark side to this finish. That was BaloFey just passing Delesi. I think the slower Delesi. I don't mean to wish anybody say anything bad about anybody, but Joe, that's Joe's car, and actually Joe's slipping down to 13th position at the moment, not running particularly well. So I think perhaps some issues for Joe that have happened off screen. We'll hear from him hopefully in the podcast that the drivers are running. Both Empire and Arya took part in the podcast, of course, in the first episode, and I think Tequila is going to be featuring soon as well. I certainly hope to hear from him, but make sure you look for that on Spotify. At the moment, we're trying to spread that out to other podcast providers, but Spotify, you can play it with just ads going on direct from Spotify.com without having to subscribe or be a Spotify member. So it's all good. You can get exactly what you need. This is the gap. There's 7/10 of a second between Stig in 4th and BaloFey in 3rd position. Your order at the moment, Beregoz leads by 20.0 seconds when we're expecting a pit stop to take about 20.0 seconds. Arya just dipping into that 20-second gap now as Beregoz's tyres start to drop. Unless Beregoz is starting to think, well, actually now with a 20-second gap, I can start dialing the engine down. That is another option available to him, of course. The one thing that will guarantee him to be coming out behind Arya is to, of course, pit. But if he decides not to pit and just try and eke out the fuel, that's going to be very interesting, and you'll see the gap drop very, very quickly indeed. It's like 32 of 39. The drivers, the top 3 have started their 33rd lap. So just to complete the order then, Vader in 5th, Vicinity in 6th, QT in 7th, Soulshock in 8th place. We've got Senior Dude in 9th, Young Tank in 10th, Bestie Mario in 11th with Scabby, Joe, and then I think at the back of the grid at the moment is Jazzy Beats. There he is, 4 minutes 16 away, but trying to pick up just a point or two for his Bro Cargo team, or at least get some experience here in the SF23. That looks like it might be Vader catching him on track at the moment. This then is, I think that's reading as 3% fuel remaining for Beregoz, so there's no chance he's going to get this to the end by any stretch. What has happened? I'm hoping that's Soulshock he's just passed. It is. Beregoz pits then, and this is the important one. The gap is now 18 seconds to Arya, who will come through, and let's wait to see what happens for Arya as he heads into the Casio triangle then for the 33rd time at race pace. Comes through the last curve and heads down the start-finish straight here. Don't hook the wall too much on this on the race pace. You get the tyres dirty, and then we're going to see, will we, Beregoz exiting the pits quite some distance back as he has to fuel up. So that is a big gap at this point. Where is Beregoz? He's only just emerging from the pits now, but he's got soft tyres on. He's got a gap of 9 seconds to make up in 5 laps. 10 seconds it is now. So he's had to get that fuel going. As Jose Luis Cervantes says, let's go Bro Cargo, cheering on his team, which is great to see. It's one of the best things about our community here. Flash is cheering on Stig as well. Let's cut back to Stig, shall we, as that gap between Beregoz and Arya now inheriting the lead of the race thanks to the pit stop. Stig is in 4th, but he's slipped back from BaloFey at this stage, and now he's concerned about his fuel usage, I do believe. This is Stig on screen at the moment. Let's have a look at his fuel consumption. Where is that going to put him? It does say about lap 38.5 he's going to get to, as far as I can see. So hopefully he will make it to the end of the race. Great graphic there, thanks to Hector, and of course Hector's digital father, Beregoz, for providing that, giving up so much practice time to help us with these brilliant features now as we are running. So that then is with no need to look at the pit estimate anymore. It's been and gone. I think if anything, it was slightly conservative. I think that the pit stop did cost a little bit more, I think, thanks to the fuel, as Monkey Games is cheering on Beregoz here. And this is getting the chat going as Empire says, softs, here we go for Beregoz. Well, Arya used them earlier. Beregoz has been forced into it with the fuel situation. I don't think this is a designed-in decision from him. I think this might be just events taking over today. The pace he's had to run, meaning that he's used more fuel than he had thought was likely. That gap is now 8.9 seconds, as we see on screen at the moment. I'm reading a different gap here. I'm reading 3.3 on my view, and on your view, Stig is 1.1 away from BaloFey. I think mine is slightly more up to date, so I think maybe Stig having a problem with his Hector connection, maybe. But that behind the Stig, I think is still Jogon Sim in the Delesi, as Beregoz is catching by about a second a lap at the moment. But that's not sufficient to overcome Arya, who has enough fuel to a finish. He has the tyres available to him. Arya's going to have to be a little bit careful. I think Beregoz might have, let's just compare fuel loads between Arya there, bottom left of your screen. Arya has, what have we got, 10% remaining. Beregoz even less, actually. So Arya can afford to push a little bit harder, perhaps, than Beregoz on the fuel usage with the upshifts and the downshifts as well, of course. But Beregoz has to overcome this back marker at the moment, with no disrespect meant to Bugstein, but at the pace of Beregoz and Arya, that was slowing Beregoz down momentarily. But the gap is now 6.6 seconds, with just a few laps left to go now, 4, including the one that they are on. Tremendous activity happening at this point, 6.6 seconds. So that's where things stand at the moment, as we wait to see how this is going to work out. This is getting really, really close. Did Arya kill Beregoz's tyres by backing him up? Well, I mean, if anything, that's an excuse, isn't it, to use your tyres less. I know less about this than our boss, well, not boss, but, you know, the guy wearing the SVR channel moniker, which is Tequila. Senior Dude is 1.4 seconds away from Solshock here. I think on a different strategy. Yes, Solshock on the hard tyres with a lot of fuel remaining, perhaps too much, as Senior Dude is in that P9 at the moment. You mean the dirty air? Understood. Okay, maybe so. Maybe so. Says Tequila. There, not logging in under his regular username, but as the person running our channel, and doing a great job so far. Please make sure that you are subscribed. There are fantastic video content, all the steward decisions coming out, fully explained, causing a little bit perhaps controversy occasionally, but then that's stewarding. Yeah, that's so it's great to see all the videos, the race previews as well. I didn't actually use the Suzuka today. I really should have done. That's on me, but perhaps Tequila, you can just leave a note when you've made a video like that to send it to me, and I can download it so I can show it like the driver preview I do at the start of between quality and race as well. Right. But anyway, Senior Dude is 9th, Solshock is in 8th place. And that is the closest battle on the grid at the moment. Beregoz catching though, 4.6 seconds to Arya. BaloFey some distance back, but 3 places up from where he started in 3rd position. Looks like the fight has gone out of the Stig in the battle for that final podium position. Vader, I think, is going to be unable to overcome the Stig here, and will drop not only his streak of wins but also his streak of podiums so far. And that is going to mean that the 2 finishing 1st and 2nd, Arya and Beregoz, are going to maintain their podium streak. So it will close up our championship, notwithstanding the win bonus that the drivers get for obviously finishing in the top position. The delta between the win and 2nd and 3rd places is obviously quite large. So 4 points separating 1st and 2nd each of those times. So it'll be a great thing for the championship. It would be so great for Coach Dave Academy or for Vader. But I'm sure a 4th place, if your worst race is a 4th place, you're not doing anything particularly too bad. This is Senior Dude then, chasing down. He's got plenty of overtake to use against Solshock. Looks like this one is going to be quite easy thanks to that usage, and he passes Solshock, who has nothing left to fight with pretty much in the electrical storage for the push to pass. Obviously different to an ERS button. It is more limited. It doesn't recover like the ERS, but it is more akin to IndyCar racing than to Formula One, as there's no kinetic or heat recovery systems in the electrical storage, but it is more potent when they do press the button as a result. So it's lap 37 of 39 for the leaders. The gap though at the front, this is fascinating, as Beregoz has to overtake 2 cars, but he can now see Arya with 2 laps to go. This is brilliant. 2.4 seconds to finish the race is the gap, plus 1 Buckstein car left to go. So we will probably understandably stay with this battle then as we close out the race. Terrific stuff to see as the drivers are so close to each other. I will find you a different driver to watch. If you haven't been watching Vicinity very much, but let's ride with Bedsty Mario picture in picture for him as he actually overcomes Yenk, who's had a problem. I think we might just have a look at Yenk the Tank then and see what happened to him. Where is he? P10. Do we see an accident coming for Yenk the Tank? Yeah, it is out of Spoon corner as the tyres are fading. Can't get the turn in, and unfortunately couldn't recover the car either. Wow, full 720 from Yenk the Tank, unfortunately, and back onto the track, losing positions as a result. Vader has also crashed. Vader has had a problem. Let's have a look at Vader. Here he is. Can we catch that in the replay buffer, I wonder? The race information has disappeared, which is very annoying. But closing in the gap, 1.8 seconds, 1.5 seconds, and Vader has slipped off the circuit. There he went. Very uncharacteristic, but this is Suzuka, of course, and this is what happens when we go on to a final lap now. Old tyres, old soft tyres for Beregoz. We've got older medium tyres for Arya, and a 1 second gap between the two of them. Beregoz has emptied the tank. Arya's got a little bit of boost remaining, but it is going to be fingernail biting, edge of the seat tension as we close out our race. Cars and drivers are making mistakes, having mechanical issues thanks to worn tyres, low on fuel, getting greedy with the lap time. It's 9/10 of a second now. Where can Beregoz find room to make the overtake? Arya is keen to get on the power and keen to get on the push to pass button. This is his opportunity. Is he going to catch the Kimi's racing car of Solshock as they come in to close out this race? Could that cause a late lap issue? Arya has managed to use that boost to get ahead here. His teammate has got out of the way. Has he? Not quite. Through the Casio triangle they go. Arya has used that boost to perfection. Arya is going to win in Suzuka round 3 of the championship, and Beregoz brings it incredibly close. 1.2 seconds separating them. What a finish from them. Tremendous to see as Vader slipping down to 5th position. Looks like QT also possibly running low on fuel, but having a problem on the way through one of the corners. Let's have a look if we can find what just happened. This is QT. I don't know if we can get there in time, but QT heading into turn 1, very low on fuel. Through into turn 2, it's just wide. Oh, it was contact. It was contact with the Coach Dave Academy car, and unfortunately for him, that is a big problem. That is Senor Dude making contact as they close out the race. BaloFey gets the 3rd position. There goes the Stig into 4th. Vader, can he manage to stay on track then to finish in 5th place? BaloFey in 3rd. But looks like Vader is going to cross the line and come home. Last to 14th challenge, last to 5th challenge completed, but only 5th for the double winner at the start of this championship. Vicinity for Team Mega is going to make it a 3-6 for Team Mega and try to extend the team's lead here as he crosses the line. And then there was a Brokaga coming up behind him. This is QT. So close with Solshock. Solshock with the boost on the final run down the backstretch. In they go towards 130R. Looks like Senor Dude has given the place back as QT is all over the shop trying to defend here from a move coming from Senor Dude. It's not going to be enough. Wider line taken from QT. Can Solshock get on the throttle comfortably enough? He pulls across the inside. Senor Dude spins to finish, and it's Solshock in 7th, QT in 8th, and Senor Dude is going to cross the line backwards. Bedsty Mario 10th, Scabby 11th, Yenk the Tank in 12th with Jogon Sim, and I think that was possibly, well, almost certainly that was Jazzy Beats at the back. That was a win from Arya then, his first of the season, our first non-Vader win of the season. 1.2 seconds it was to a finish as Beregoz comes in a very close second position. Boladay in third place for Team Mega and the Stig for Jamplakt Interiors. Then we've got Vader with the fastest lap, but it doesn't score any points. A minute away from the win today and second place. Vader in fifth. Then Vicinity in sixth, Soulshock in seventh, and QT finishing in eighth. These, of course, are provisional results. Make sure you subscribe to this channel to make sure you get any steward results in the intervening days between races. We've got Senior Dude in 9th, Mario in 10th, Scavy in 11th, Yank the Tank in 12th, Jogon Sim in 13th, and Jazzy Beats finishing in 14th position. Fantastic finish to the race. Fantastic race overall. Congratulations to Arya, Beregoz and BaloFey for their podium today. Thank you so much to everybody who has been watching. To Golnaz, who has just tuned in, just spoken up, I should say. Piped up, maybe, is what I'm going for here. Thank you, Stormborn. That was very kind of you as well. Make sure you're subscribed to @WebboRed5 because that is where the replay races and next week, same time, the S3 live race will be released as well. I can't promise you exactly when those races will be, but as soon as I possibly can. Congratulations to the top 3. Congratulations to the top 8, I should say, really. Thank you so much for your support as we run our fantastic season through. You'll be back here in 2 weeks' time, hopefully, live for the next round of the championship. But from all of us here at SVR, and especially from me, Webbo, thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next race day.